And hello, everybody. Welcome back to British Stand. We've got some more news coming from the country of Spain. Look, as a channel, we have been covering a lot of the ongoings that have been occurring, of course, in mainland Spain, particularly in local towns. With regard to North African migrants, we've seen the outrage, we've seen the attempted cover-up, of course, from Spanish politicians and the mainstream media for these North African migrants acting violent and actually going around and, of course, trying to hunt down Spanish locals. And this has been causing, this eating up. Spain is spiraling out of control. There is almost like a civil war erupting between the Spanish locals and, of course, the illegal migrants. And much like Europe, they don't want illegals within their country. That's not what the Spanish people want. They want remigration, a lot of them. And they want this sorted out, and especially don't want to be scapegoated for the North African migrants, and in particular, a lot of them from Morocco. Now, in a different incident, now still in the same country, of course, we're going to go to Gran Canaria. Of course, Gran Canaria, the Canary Islands, just off the coast of Africa. And there has been an absolutely shocking incident and a bit of shocking news that has occurred where a North African migrant illegally there from Morocco set alight a 17-year-old girl, and the girl is now currently fighting for her life in hospital in Seville. She is said to have 95% burns. As always, guys, we are going to be going through this full story, going on to as why this guy was actually in the country in the first place, why the Spanish authorities haven't got rid of him yet. We're going to be going through it all, guys, but as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more content just like this. So this is translated, of course, from Spanish media. Las Palmas dan Gran Canaria wakes up in disbelief at the event that shook the La Center neighborhood this Wednesday. A 17-year-old girl under the guardianship of the Canary Islands government was allegedly burned by a 20-year-old man who had only been on the island for a month and a half. It was in early June when Abrafaya Harda, born in Morocco on April 12, 2005, arrived in Lanzarote on an illegal boat after the Maritime Rescue Service located the boat at sea. As reported by Canarias 7, he was also joined by several people of sub-Saharan and North African origin, frequent arrivals due to the migration crisis. When the services managed to rescue the boat and bring it safely to land, authorities activated the protocol for such cases. They requested documentation from all of them, identification, but the young man did not have a visa or other documents that would have identified him or authorized his entry to stay in Spain. Now, of course, this is his journey into the country and, of course, was not allowed to be there and was on a deportation order. However, as stated, a 17-year-old girl now is in critical condition after being dosed in fuel and set alight by her 20-year-old boyfriend, according to this report. The Moroccan illegal immigrant in the early hours of Wednesday morning in Gran Canaria. The teenager who was under the guardianship of the Canary Islands suffered burns to 95% of her body and remains in intensive care at a specialist burn unit in Seville. The suspect, as stated, Abra Fahada, is currently who was awaiting deportation, is currently was housed in a military facility whilst waiting for his deportation order. This was just a short distance from the scene of the attack. The incident occurred at around 4 a.m. on Tuesday on Angosta Street, and forensic officers and national police remained at the scene in the morning, inspecting the fire. Sorry, I've just lost my train of thought on where I was reading from. Inspecting the fire-damaged building, which the suspect and the victim had reportedly been squatting in together. Authorities say the girl frequently escaped from her care centre to spend time with this guy, and despite the centre having filed a missing person report in the days prior to the attack, the full nature of their relationship is still under investigation, and police are exploring whether a third person may have been involved. After setting the girl alight, Harder reportedly suffered from smoke inhalation and was taken to hospital under police supervision. He is currently, of course, in detention and being investigated. Now, this individual who set alight this girl is saying that, of course, the mattress caught light whilst he was having a cigarette. But that doesn't, of course, explain why it was dosed in fuel. As stated, there is a massive investigation currently ongoing, and he is stating that it was an accident. However, the National Police are continuing their investigation into this, and of course, he has been arrested at the time of recording. So more of this is going to be coming out, but really, really scary stuff for what's happening in Spain at this moment in time. What is actually going on in this country? Of course, an illegal migrant coming into the country 6 weeks ago, being housed in a military facility that's there for the illegal migrants, and waiting to find out his future on his deportation. Apparently, he was able to maybe appeal his deportation. He has a month to appeal it or whatever, but had no documentation, arrived on a small boat into the Canary Islands, and this is what happens just 6 weeks after arriving on a boat. Now, this, of course, has caused mass amounts of outrage within Spain. The story is going viral, and rightfully so. A lot of Spanish patriots, Spanish people. I don't like to use the word Spanish patriot. Spanish people, everyday Spanish people. The Gran Canarian island is in absolute outrage over this at this moment in time. And it's just another place, another country that can't get a grip of this, not small, just small boat crisis, but people illegally entering their country. And as for Spain, it does look like it's a lot of them are North African migrants that are arriving. But all I can say at this moment in time is that I pray for this young 17-year-old girl who is currently fighting for her life in a specialist Seville hospital, as her body has been it's got 95% burns after being burned alive, essentially. Absolutely shocking and absolutely disgusting things to see. But Spain is spiraling out of control. And just for those of you tuning in, the recent activity that's been happening in Spain, mainland Spain, is completely separate to what's happened here, of course, in Gran Canaria. Just to put that out there, this is completely different incidents, but still, of course, revolves around North African migrants illegally entering their country. Arthur Hannas says she must tell her story. Well, I mean, I pray that she's able to tell her story. I mean, it doesn't sound that good. I'm no burns expert, but 95% burns and currently fighting for her life does not sound good whatsoever. Tilly T says, what's wrong with being a patriot? There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a patriot. I was just stating, sometimes people just, when you use the terminology patriot, it means that you just really for your country and all of these kind of things, like a lot of us are here for Britain. But what I'm saying is it's just the normal people now, just normal, everyday people that maybe don't really care about flying the Spanish flag. Just people in normal, everyday households that not necessarily patriots as such, that are patriotic about their country, but they just sick to the back teeth of people coming into their country illegally and causing absolute havoc. Basil says, coming to the UK soon. Minnie Pup says, he seems like a rather pleasant boyfriend. Now, it's important to note that it is saying that this was a boyfriend, or is said to be a boyfriend, apparently. Again, apparently they were squatting in a place. I met him a couple of weeks ago. But again, police in Spain and in Gran Canaria are currently investigating on whether they are actually a couple. But as I said, once he was arrested, hours later, he was transferred to the guard cells on the island where he awaits arraignment. Sorry, this is translated from Spanish. There he also claimed it was an accident and he was smoking when the mattress caught fire. So that's what he's saying is currently it was an accident. That what he's saying, but that's not what the police are suggesting. But a full investigation will of course be underway with regard to this. Question is, where are the men in these countries? Are they all wearing dresses, too busy, turning the other cheek? Irishmen are walking around their towns at night to protect the females. And you're seeing this stuff, of course, what's happening in Poland as well. Sorry, this is my first live stream of the day. I can't even speak today. I really do apologize. But there is other countries that, of course, are taking matters into their own hands. However, that shouldn't be the case. People shouldn't have to worry about people coming from other countries illegally by boat and infiltrating their society. As stated with the Gran Canaria, this guy, by the way, is not just a migrant. He's an illegal migrant that arrived on boat literally 6 weeks ago. He was joined by several other people of sub-Saharan and North African origin. And again, this is apparently frequent arrivals due to that ongoing migration crisis in the Canary Islands. But yeah, they requested documentation from all of the men for their identification, but the young men did not have a visa or other documents that would have identified him or authorized his entry to stay in Spain. So he was there illegally. And there was a deportation order on him as well. Since he was an adult and not in an irregular situation, on June 2nd, the authorities issued administrative resolution requiring him to leave Spanish territory, i.e. an expulsion order. From that moment on, those in such situation had a period of 1 month to appeal the decision, apparently, according to this article. But I don't get how they can appeal this decision when they're there illegally. While the process was in the resolution phase, the Spanish government distributed these migrants to different adult centers. In the case of the accused of assaulting the young woman, he was transferred to Canaries 50, a building that had served as a military barracks. However, the facility had been adapted to house migrants in an irregular situation for 5 years. In a legal situation, should I add there? Sorry, I'm not reading off what this article was saying. But wow. Wow. They were squatting at a place where the victim allegedly also spent the night, and she escaped from the juvenile center with the boy. And it was that where tragedy occurred on Wednesday that brought the young woman to Virgen de Rocío Hospital in Seville a day later, where she's fighting for her life. Wow. I'll be following this one very, very closely, and I think a lot of people, of course, in Spain and Gran Canaria will be following this one very, very closely to try and get to the bottom of what has gone on here. She has 95% burns, as stated. You're absolutely right. 95% burns. Karen says this is a global problem now. We need to stand together. Will Raz says, yeah, the mattress caught fire. So the accused is saying that he was having a cigarette, and after he was smoking a cigarette, the mattress just caught fire. Just caught fire like that off a cigarette. Jesus me, I've smoked all my days. And again, I know there's an investigation ongoing, but Jesus, I've smoked a couple of cigarettes in my time, and it doesn't quite work like that. It doesn't quite work like that at all. But yeah, guys, that's enough for this story. Do let me know your thoughts, and we will provide you updates as it comes out with regard to the accused. And of course, out in Spain, they are currently investigating this to see if it was foul play or whatnot. But yeah, it doesn't look good for the victim either. It really doesn't. And I pray for her and her family at this moment in time. But guys, thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more stories